SVLG Annual Forum segment, a conversation with Amazon's Dr. Ken Washington, VP of Consumer Robotics, is brought to you by Bank of America. Our moderator is SVLG's SVP of Tech and Innovation, Peter Leroux Munoz. Enjoy.
You covered a lot of ground. And, one thing I want to ask you about is someone who's really been kind of at the forefront of robotics in people's lives and homes. What do you see that's coming on the horizon in this field?
So this field is very early. So probably the biggest thing that's coming is the world of artificial intelligence that powers smart homes is just going through all kinds of development and revolution. So we now can move from very transactional interactions that we have with systems like Alexa and Astro robots to more conversational, where it will remember the last thing you talked to it about. It'll have understanding and awareness of the environment. We just announced a new feature where Astro can identify the location and state of doors and windows. And so it can come and tell you left the door open. That's just the beginning. In the future, it'll be able to help you determine whether you left the stove on, or whether the refrigerator has been left open, or someone is tripped and fell and they need help. So and these are revolutions that are just now starting to become realistic, and I think it's going to drive the future of how we use devices in our home, and even in our cars and pretty much everywhere.
That's a very comprehensive approach to technology and innovation. Again, cars, homes, our lives. How does Amazon see itself as part of the Silicon Valley ecosystem?
So as I was saying in my opening remarks, we've been here for many years, so since the beginning of the Kindle, and that's just one dimension of how we're in Silicon Valley. We also have a large presence from our AWS community. It's actually right next door. Our AWS Cloud Computing Group is right next door. But it's bigger than just having employees develop technology and work on systems in Silicon Valley. We have to be part of the Valley and contribute to the ecosystem as well. So we have this leadership principle at Amazon where we say that success and scale brings broad responsibility. And so we're servicing that leadership principle here in Silicon Valley by sponsoring programs that will support those who want to become entrepreneurs. One of the programs that I want to talk about is a program that we call AWS Impact Accelerator for Women Founders, where we're contributing up to $225,000 for 225 founders, women founders. And this is part of a larger initiative where we're committing up to $30 million to help to contribute into the Silicon Valley ecosystem. This program is going to really help people who want to create businesses here in the Valley, and Amazon is part of that, and it's important to us to participate in that way in the Valley. In fact, I understand that two of the recipients of this program that I just spoke about might even be in the room today. So if they are, I'd love to acknowledge you and say congratulations. Somka Vu from Alta Tools and Ashima Sharma from Dreamy. So.
Ken, that's great. And really one of the things that I was struck about your presentation was speaking to putting the customer and the consumer first. A lot of companies oftentimes will, again, kind of push that tech forward, as you mentioned, without being responsive to the consumer. How has Amazon been able to keep that front and center in all of the innovation work that you do?
So it's one of our leadership principles, and it's sort of ingrained in our leadership approach. So one of the things that we do is we teach that for all of our leaders, so that it's just how we innovate. And our products are always in service of people. When we started our Astro product, we started with that question. what do we think in 5 to 10 years, are people going to want to have robots in their home? And the answer to that was absolutely yes. And so then we asked the second question was, well, is anybody building one, and can you get one? And if we built it, would it help people in their lives? And the answer was absolutely yes. So we got to work. And that same story could be told over and over again for all of the products that we design and develop. It starts with that question of what would be in service of people's needs, and then after we develop the solution, we pay attention and we obsess over how customers use those products. And if they tell us that they want to have additional features, we focus on those additional features. And sometimes we don't get it right, and so we have to stop. And that's okay too, because innovation is hard. And innovation and technology, sometimes you have to take a risk. And when you take a risk, the key is to pay attention to the customers and see how do they use it. Is it helping them live better lives? And if it does, then keep going. And if it doesn't, pivot and do something different.
And Ken, I really love that idea too about being responsive and listening to consumers and being thoughtful about how we receive feedback. I'd like to just ask, over the course of your varied career, you've done a lot in a lot of different areas. Are there any particular professional lessons that you've kind of learned, some may be good, some may be kind of the hard way, that you've put into practice and you said, you know what, I'm going to take this lesson with me and it's going to influence the rest of my career? Has there been any example like that?
Well, how much time do you have?
Well, we've got about 3 minutes left, so I'll let you be selective.
Okay. Look, I have had the real pleasure of working in lots of different industries and with lots of different teams. And one of the things I've taken away from every single job that I've worked in is the power of diversity is real. I mean, it's real. This is not just, corporate speak. It really matters. And so when you bring new ideas and different perspectives of thought, especially when you're trying to solve hard problems that have never been solved before, that's the only way you can look at a hard problem from multiple angles and bring fresh ideas and challenge those ideas and come to better solutions. And so the power of diversity is something that every time I've moved to a new role, I've gotten more and more conviction about that. And so I would also add that because I have so much conviction in the importance of that, it's not going to just happen naturally. Mm-hmm. Leaders have to step up to create the right environment for diverse teams to form and thrive. And so you have to engage in the community, you have to participate and give back and serve as role models and challenge the system when you see that it's not creating the right environment for a diverse team to create and thrive and be successful. So I have a lot of passion for that topic.
That's terrific. Ken, you spoke earlier about Amazon's role in the larger Silicon Valley ecosystem. What's one thing about Silicon Valley at this moment right now that really gives you hope for the future?
Some of the earlier speakers sort of stole my thunder, but I'll repeat it because it's so important, which is it's the way people think in the Valley. The Valley is a special place, and there are many places that have tried to replicate the Silicon Valley ecosystem, but it's super hard. It's hard because there's so many ingredients that have come together in this one special place. Companies like Amazon and our colleague tech companies, some of the world's best universities, the venture capital community. But the one that gives me the most hope is you put those three things together and you add on top of that people that just have this entrepreneurial spirit where, they're just not willing to always say no. They'll look at a problem, and if you don't get the right answer or you get no you get no the first time, well, you ask the second question, well, what if I did it this way? Mm-hmm. And what if I did it that way? That drives innovation. This is the kind of spirit that led us to create products like we create in Lab 126, like the Kindle and like the Fire tablets and the Fire TVs and Alexa devices. And look, when Alexa was first put out, it didn't do 90%, maybe more. It did very little of what it does today. It didn't have a smart home integration capability. It didn't have, there's no screen version, Those came about because of the curious mindset of the innovators at Lab 126, listening to customers and then feeding that curiosity and the customer insights back into the product. And that happens in Silicon Valley just very naturally, and that's why we're here.
Ken, I couldn't have said it any better to wrap it up. I mean, that's why we are here with such a diverse group of people in this room, leaders, thinkers, innovators. And Ken, you've certainly been one of those examples for all of us. So thank you all. Let's give Ken a big hand for his participation today.